be finally reviewing both Jigsaw and Leatherface. It's just gonna be quick, chill review. I don't really feel like putting on my face, so we're just having a no makeup, relaxed day. So that's what we're dealing with. Oh well. So I rented both of these on Redbox last night. And I watched Jigsaw last night, and then I just got done watching Leatherface this morning. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start with Leatherface just because I don't have quite as much to say about this one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and review it and get it done out of the way. So for starters, I've never been that big into the Texas Chainsaw franchise in the first place. I have nothing against it. I don't hate it by any means. It's just not my favorite of, the big scary men in white masks. It's kind of my least favorite. So, which I guess is actually just faces, but you get what I mean. But I will say I was excited for this. I do love a good origin story. The woman that plays his like mom, aunt, whatever, she is actually in the show Hemlock Grove. Show keeps coming up lately. She is in that as well, so I was really excited about that because obviously I love the show. She obviously plays a very, very different character in this than she did on the show. Um, but yeah, so I was excited for it. I was looking forward to it. I know a lot of people were saying that it was very good. A lot of fans were really excited about it. I personally didn't really like it that much. Kind of disappointed. To be honest, I found it a little boring throughout most of the film. It just wasn't scary to me. It felt, I mean, it was still a horror, I guess. I was gonna say it felt more like a thriller, but I mean, it was a horror. It just was more gross than it was scary. There's nothing really at any point that like really terrified me. It just was more gross and grossed me out. Which I guess maybe is kind of my problem with this franchise in the first place. Is that it just never like scared me in any sort of way. I will say towards the end it definitely did get better. When they were kind of being chased by the police, which was most of this film, but when the police were finally starting to catch up to them, and spoiler alerts as per usual, with these reviews, when they reveal basically that Bud is not Leatherface, because they kind of focused on him, seeming like he was going to be, and then they kind of revealed it. I wasn't super surprised. I mean, I kind of figured it out or guessed when Bud got shot in the head by that police, which I feel like most people probably did as well. I was like, okay, well, it clearly isn't him, unless he's going to come back from the dead, because he, just the way he was shot, he's definitely dead. I was like, so it's gotta be the other guy, which then he got shot in the face, and I was like, well, but, I mean, you can't, obviously, can't survive that. So I was like, oh, guess it's gonna be him. So then when he was like hanging in the barn, and the police officer was going on about how he was dead, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's him. Makes sense. I kind of had maybe a little bit of a feeling earlier on when he first appeared, just because when he went in there, he was like small little kid. Just didn't see him turning into like this big, large monster man. Not monster. That's horrible to say. big, large kid. But I will say that did go kind of off track, because Leatherface is supposed to be quite large, but I guess he's still got some growing to do, so he'll grow into it. But yeah, that's kind of just my basic review of Leatherface. Wasn't that impressed, didn't really like it, I didn't really see what all the hubbub that everybody else had about it. So, sorry if anyone's disappointed that I didn't like it. I just didn't. But if you are a big fan of the Texas Chainsaw franchise and you enjoyed this, then I am happy for you, because it really doesn't affect me that much either way. So yeah, then on to talking about Jigsaw. So I went into watching this with about little to no expectations, I guess. When the movie first came out, a lot of people were praising it, and then I feel like as time was kind of going by, the movie had been out for a little while, more and more like hardcore Saw fans were kind of disappointed in it. So I definitely went in with low expectations. I did watch it with Matt, my boyfriend, and he actually went into it. I would say I think he had like high expectations, or he was at least very excited about it. Not that I wasn't, I just was, thinking to myself, okay, if this is, if it's bad, then, you've been warned and you're not going to be surprised if it's bad. So I think he went into it hoping to really like it, and he, however, was kind of disappointed, I think. I asked him, what he thought about it afterwards, and he was like, it's okay, like, it just can't compete with the, originals, and I do agree. I definitely see where he's coming from with that. It definitely can't really compete with the previous Saw films, but I honestly really enjoyed it. I mean, the acting was okay. I thought a lot of the acting was really good, except for the two people that worked in the morgue. They were okay up until the point where they were like at the bar and he's talking to her about how basically like she's a suspect and she needs to stop doing crazy shit. And like just from then on, their acting throughout like the rest of it was so bad. But I never suspected that she was Jigsaw, like the new Jigsaw, because that just seemed too obvious, and I was like, but like she's us. She's all of us horror fans that just we sometimes get a little too obsessed. You know, Ghostface wall over there. Uh doesn't mean we're gonna go out and stab a bunch of people. Um but yeah, I definitely liked her character. I just felt like the acting was pretty bad, which is kind of a bummer because both of those actors look quite familiar. Not sure what I've seen them in, but I was rooting for them, and then the bar scene, and from then on, the acting was just horrible on their part. But I did feel like everyone else did a really good job. At no point did I think that it was going to be the police officer. I just thought that would have been too much of a copy off of, previous Saw films with, Officer Hoffman becoming Jigsaw. Uh, 2 or whatever. I just really wasn't sure, to be honest. I thought maybe it could have been somebody who was within the game. But again, that would have been a really big copy off of previous films, with Amanda. But, which they kind of did, I guess, with the killer. They did kind of use someone who had previously been in the games as the new Jigsaw, but that works. I mean, it makes sense. But they didn't completely copy off of Amanda. I liked the fact that he, you know, there's a scene where Jigsaw is telling him, or John is telling him, like, you know, that you can't do this out of, like, revenge or spite, and that he taught him that. But what kind of throws me off, and I don't know if they're gonna do more movies and dive into it, is just the fact that, okay, so this all happened 10 years ago, and he helped him build the equipment and whatnot, for the traps. Where was he through the rest of these films? Kind of makes it feel like Amanda was just there to kind of take the heat, I guess, as, you know, they needed some, not to say that she didn't play a very big, important part in the films, of course she did, but now with this big reveal that this guy's been there for the past, you know, 10 or so years, it just feels like she was kind of used to be like a fall man or whatever. Just that it's obviously that it's you know, obvious that John was getting sicker and sicker, couldn't do all these things on his own, so they needed to have someone that basically could take the heat if caught, and that's what they've kind of just turned Amanda into, which really kind of sucks. But I mean, oh well, nothing I can do about that. I did just find that kind of weird. Like partway through the movie, I was kind of like, "Oh, I bet this is a prequel," because like when they reveal that it's John, you're like, "Well, what the fuck?" Like he's obviously dead, which is half prequel, half not. I mean, it was like flashbacky, I guess. The only way you can word it, because it really isn't like the whole movie's set in like 10 years later. Uh, and then, well, no, it's because they said John. Well, now I'm confused on the timeline because in the beginning they said John died 10 years ago, but then there's this nurse guy, well, the guy, and he's talking about 10 years ago he helped John with all the traps. I don't know. The timeline's not making sense now. I'm confused. Anyway, back to talking about it. They revealed John. I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, there's no way he could still be alive. So then when they revealed that all of those things were, you know, that this trap was the original trap, the first one that he ever did, I was like, oh, okay. Which I feel like I should have picked up on because she said that it was designs for a trap that was supposed to be used before any of the other victims. Maybe the bodies were never found. Well, and then the trap was in it. So I feel like I should have picked up on it probably then a little bit more and realized like, oh yeah, for sure, this is definitely all happening like previously. Like this is two different story plots. There are two different timelines going on. So yeah, I don't know. I really liked it. Yes, it is. You know, doesn't I agree? It doesn't really compete with the other films. Um, but I mean, I'm not angry about it, and I really liked it, and I will probably buy this one, part of the collection, and just enjoy it. I mean, just if you're a Saw fan and you're unsure if you should watch this, I say go ahead and watch it, but do keep in mind that you may be disappointed. I personally wasn't highly disappointed. I liked it. So, I mean, I'm not in love with it by any means, but I did really like it. So, yeah, but I'm sorry, I know I always ramble in these reviews. I hope that you guys did enjoy this quick, kind of relaxed review. let me know what you thought about both films in the comments below. Do you hope that they continue with more Saw films, or just kind of let this be? I didn't really feel like they ended it with, really. I mean, the ending of it kind of matches the ending of the first one, where there's obviously a new group of people who are being trapped, and he even does like the sliding door thing, like in the first one. But I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think that they should continue? Do you want them to continue? And the same thing with Leatherface. Do you want more Texas Chainsaw movies? Do you want more, branching off of this, prequel, like remakes? Leave room for remakes? Or do you think that they should just kind of let it be? Let me know. And I do hope that you enjoyed this. If so, please give it a thumbs uppy and make sure to subscribe for more horror related content. All my social media stuff is in the description below as usual, along with a link to my Patreon account, which would mean the world if you all could check it out. My prices are extremely cheap. For $2 a month, you get early access to videos and blog posts, bloopers, behind the scenes type jazz. So I'm really wanting to put a lot of focus into my Patreon and YouTube account as well. So, the more people that are Patreons, the more I can put into it and more into YouTube. So, just keep that in mind if you want to help a girl out. All the stuff is in the description below. And a quick thank you to Vicky from Nightmare Maven for being a Patreon. You guys have a great week.